Welcome to Confidently Visible, the podcast that helps you move through visibility blocks, including fear, resistance, and overwhelm to share life-changing work with the world and grow your business and attract more beautifully aligned clients that rave about your work. I'm your host, Beck Sands, a visibility mentor, a certified life coach, and an award-winning PR consultant based in sunny Newcastle, Australia. Let me guide you on how to show up as your unique self, to share your incredible work, and to grow your audience with more consistency, ease, and flow. Whether you are a consultant, an entrepreneur, a CEO, a coach, or a creative, this is the space to unlock your uniqueness, to grow your audience, and to make a bigger impact, all while feeling good about being seen. The world needs to hear your message. So let's get started. Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Confidently Visible podcast. So good to be here with you today. And I hope you're doing really well wherever you're listening from in the world. Today, I'm going to be chatting through getting visibility cut through in an age of information overwhelm. And I know that with all the algorithms these days and just the amount of noise and AI-generated content, it can feel really challenging to get cut through. And so this is definitely a timely topic. I feel like it's a bugbear for many people. But what I really want to impress upon you today is that you don't need a huge audience to succeed. What we're all building through personal brand-based businesses, through having kind of online businesses as coaches, consultants, or creatives, or even just building our careers, we just need to really nurture our micro communities. We don't need millions of followers. We don't need to be celebrities. We just need to connect with our unique ideal audience that really values our services and what it is that we have to offer. So always keep that in mind when, if you're feeling like disappointed that you're not getting all the clicks and all the likes and all the shares. Having a really big audience is great. But also you don't need to have a huge audience in order to succeed and thrive in business. Okay, so I'm going to be chatting through a little bit today about the visibility landscape. I'm going to be talking about connection over noise, getting in front of your ideal audience, building a resilient visibility strategy, and some examples from me. So let's dive into it today. Thank you so much again for being here. All right. So the current landscape when it comes to building a personal brand-based business can feel overwhelmingly cluttered. So like if you're a consultant or a creative or a coach, particularly, it can feel like there are so many people out there sharing messages, maybe so many people in similar businesses that you have, and you're feeling like, oh my gosh, like how can I stand out in this sea of noise? And I've encountered this time and time again. I've been building a personal brand business for the past 10 years as a coach, and I've certainly kind of given up many times over the years and then gotten back on the horse. I've taken breaks. I've kind of looked at what works. I've looked at what doesn't work. I haven't yet done advertising to pay for my audience just because I haven't needed to in my business. So it's all been organic growth. But what I've found is that building those connections and building the relationships is at the core of building a personal brand business. And so if you can focus on that as the main game, that building the relationships, providing the value, communicating your services, supporting people to solve problems, that is what you're there for. That is, that's what you're building a personal brand for. It's not so that you can get a certain amount of clicks, right? Like it's not about that. So don't worry about, if your content isn't going viral per se. Like you want to get in front of the people that are going to relate to you, your ideal audience, your ideal clients, the people that you can support, the people that you can be of service for. So just keep that in your mind throughout today's ep. Yeah, but there is like the landscape today is there is an overwhelm of information. And so the more authentic you can be, the more you can, imbue your content with your own unique stories. I'd love to recommend using ChatGPT as like a backup. Like it's like a support mechanism, right? Like it'll help you to flesh something out. It'll help you to maybe come up with some ideas or further your ideas. But it's not going to replace you, right? So you don't want to just be putting out cookie cutter, bland content because that's not going to connect with your audience. There's way too much of that out there. And there's not enough of that like really authentic content that people will really resonate with when it comes to your work. And that's what you want to be doing. You want to be supporting people. You want to be connecting with people. You want to be building those relationships. And so you can't do that in a cookie cutter way. You can only do that by sharing who you are as a unique person, your strengths, your experiences, and your skills. Okay, so obviously, attention spans are lower than ever. There's declining organic reach on socials. There is definitely an over-reliance on like those trending, headlines that just get clickbaity kind of content that's out there. But really what I'm interested in sharing with you today is how you can build those relationships with your audience. And to do that, you do need to get your content seen. You do need to be sharing consistently. And you do need to be sharing unique content that's not just bland, one of a kind. Like you want to be, sharing your personality and your experiences throughout those personal brand building activities. Okay, so this leads me to the key to visibility cut through, which is the connection over the noise. So don't just generate content through ChatGPT. Like you don't want to be doing that. Obviously, it is a tool that you can use, but that's all it is. It's a tool, right? So you can use it to kind of, I use it for to flesh out ideas. I use it to, I'll put some content in there and then I'll use it to kind of expand on that. But I always oversee it. I always edit it. I always tweak it. And ultimately the content is mine. It's just another little tool that we can use, right? So what you want to be doing is creating that really meaningful, high impact, high value content that will help you to really connect with your audience over just like pumping out endless posts. And ideally, what you want to be doing is focusing on a core piece of content every week or every fortnight that you can then fragment into bite-sized pieces. So you can have one core idea that then you can do a podcast episode on. I do mine fortnightly. You could also do like media articles. You can do thought leadership pieces. You can do videos, and you can, of course, do social media content and fragment that across the week. So really engaging and connecting with fewer people is way better than just kind of dealing with the generic masses. So you want to be getting people through social media closer to you. And by doing that, you're getting them onto your newsletter, you're getting them into your communities. So grabbing their attention on social media and then bringing them closer to you in your own little micro community. And of course, getting your ideal clients on a call is a really great way to connect with them further so that they know whether or not they want to work with you, and you can share your service offering, how you work, how you can support them, the problems you can solve. And things like webinars as well are, of course, a really great way to connect with more people, bring them into your micro community again, and then, they can decide whether or not they want to work with you as well. So your authenticity is going to be magnetic. So showing up as yourself is going to help with that connection. So this is where I'm saying don't just rely on ChatGPT, don't outsource your personal branding efforts. It's really about, being uniquely you and being authentically you, and then connecting with your audience from there. And how you can do that is by sharing stories throughout your content, showing the behind the scenes moments. One behind the scene moment of mine just before is that I had Moxie, my cat, in here, and I ended up having to lock her out because she literally was up here and meowing right into the microphone. And so I had to re-record that episode, and I was like, oh my God, there's so many good things about working from home, but yeah, pets and things that, yeah, is sometimes not one of them when you're trying to record audio or video. So yeah, just keeping it real as to, what's going on in the day. But you can also share, so those behind the scene moments, and just having authentic interactions. So caring about people and what they're doing and who they are as people and what they're going through. Like your audience, they're not just metrics. It's not just like, you might get 10 likes on a post and you're like, oh, that's not much. But actually that's 10 real live human beings that have connected with you. So like think about it in that way rather than just a number, a metric. Think about the real humans that are behind that, that engagement. Think about the real humans that you could connect with on a deeper level, and potentially support. And how can you, think about how you can provide value to them over and above just, sharing content. Can you get them on a call? Is there something that you can support them with? Is there, a freebie that you could share with them that might support them on their journey? Can you find more about where they are on their journey and how you can potentially support them? So really think about how you can create those connections, and it's really about that quality and not quantity. And that brings me to really knowing your audience deeply. So you want to be knowing what are their pain points, what are their desires, what are their habits, like what, in relation to the service you provide, what are their biggest problems that you can potentially help them to solve. I know for my audience that, visibility is hard. Being consistently visible is even harder. Being confidently visible consistently is even harder than that. And so that's one thing that I know that I share with my audience that I know I can support them with, because I've really, really struggled with this in the past. I definitely have a lot more ease and flow around that now. And I've built a thriving business off the back of having a personal brand. And so I know that this is something that I can really support my clients with. And so that is infused throughout all of the content that I share. And I do try and speak to those pain points because I know and I've been through every single challenge that comes up and all of the resistance that comes up when building a personal brand as well. Okay, so let's talk about how to get in front of your ideal audience. So the first thing you can do is really to go where your audience is. And this is really low-hanging fruit when it comes to building a personal brand and building those connections. An obvious one is LinkedIn. So I have been building my LinkedIn profile since corporate, but then obviously now in my business, and continue to expand that. I know that that's where my core audience is. Also Instagram. I know there's a lot of people still on Facebook, but I less and less go on there. As a tool, I just don't love Facebook, and I just find less and less organic engagement, less and less conversations, and I'm not as interested in all of the paid stuff because I really want to nurture those deep connections, and the people that are really interested in my services are engaging with my content, right? And so we're having the DMs in LinkedIn and in Instagram and so on and so forth. So with Facebook, you kind of have to pay to even reach your own audience, which I don't love. So yeah, less and less, but Facebook might be a really great platform for you. So just have a think about where is your audience and how can you reach them. Also, when it comes to media consumption, what are they listening to? What are they reading? What are they watching? And a lot of it is, connecting with them by being interviewed on different podcasts or been in media that they're consuming. So just have a think about where your audience is and how you can reach them through your personal brand building activities, and as well how you can tap into others' audiences. So by being, a guest on other people's podcasts, like I mentioned, or, being interviewed in other people's communities or presenting in other people's, courses and groups and things like that. I know that in my business community, there's a lot of that goes on, and we all support each other by, inviting each other into our communities as like a guest presenter or so on and so forth. So, there's, and also even just speaking at events, you're tapping into other people's audiences as well. So have a think about how you can do that. Create content that will actually engage. So you can use your stories, you can use kind of phrases that capture attention. And this actually could be where you could use ChatGPT to kind of help you. But other than that, have a look at what's working. Have a look at some examples in your field, in your niche. What are people reading? What stands out to you? What's of interest? I feel like when we're thinking in terms of PR and that like newsworthy content, we are looking at like, timeliness. What else is going on that we can tap into that's, like in the public discourse at the moment, and how can we kind of tap into that with our content? Is there something timely happening, like a special event or time of year? How can we kind of tap into that with our content and make it really relevant and timely at the moment? Also with evergreen content, some of that stuff, like it's relevant all year round. And so you can, that's not against batching content, and you can kind of do a little of both. So you can make content that is evergreen and relevant all year round, based on, the priorities of your ideal client, of your audience. What are some of their pain points that you can speak to? What are some of their interests? What are the things when you're talking to your clients, what are you seeing them kind of talk about? What are they, what's coming up for them? How can you kind of tap into that with your content as well? And so that's going to help you to create that cut through and get that engagement. One thing I find that really works on LinkedIn is to create content that is relevant for other people, but then by tagging, many people in the post, not randomly tagging people just so that they see and like your content, because I feel like that's a bit spammy. But, for example, if you're at an event and you can maybe call out a whole bunch of people that were at the event, or, if you're calling out other people's work and sharing, what you love about it, or sharing other people's podcasts, or, that kind of thing where it is actually relevant, genuinely relevant for the other people, and you're tagging them in it. And I find that content does really well as well. Also, like, invest in the relationships, not just your content. So you want to be having these people in your communities. You want to be chatting with them one-on-one. You want to be inviting them onto your email list. You want to find out more about them as unique individual human beings as well. And really building those relationships, because that is what business is all about. That's what, your personal brand is all about. It's all about building those relationships. You can also diversify your visibility strategy. So don't just rely on social media. So make sure that you're building that email list, which you own and no one can take away. Make sure that, you're connecting with people in real life, and you've got other various different ways to connect with people and grow your audience. Obviously I've got this podcast as well, and encourage everyone to jump on my email list too. So, you want to be doing that, but you also want to have the value to provide to your audience to really back that up. So you're not just inviting them to your email list for, just to be on your email list. Then, there's something that they get when they join your email list, and it's something that helps to solve a pain point or a problem for them and can really help to support them. You can also advertising is a really great way to reach new audiences. I don't recommend it when you're starting out because you want to kind of try and test your content and refine it and make sure that it's really resonating. Once you know that it's resonating with your ideal clients, with your audience, then you can kind of amplify that through ad reach. But definitely organic is the place to start. Awesome. So I just wanted to share, so building your visibility strategy. I've done a couple of episodes about strategy, so I'm not going to dive into that too much, and we are running out of time for today's episode, but I really want you to have a visibility strategy because it will help you to stay on track. It'll help you to, to be consistent. It'll help you to really refine where you want to go, where you want to be, and when you're going to do it, as well as really measuring what you're doing. So look at the analytics. I do every week. I check my analytics and how I'm going and what content's working, what's not, what platforms are working, what's not, because then you can refine that as you go, and you can really build on that. And look at what's working for your business and what's not. And you can do obviously more of what's working and less of what's not. And also just stay adaptable. So trends will come and go. The fundamentals of building your personal brand, the fundamentals of business don't change. Like they really do stay the same. It's just that the platforms and the tactics and the techniques and, the apps and the technology might change. But ultimately, businesses are built on relationships. They're built on being able to deliver what you say you're going to deliver. They're built on trust, just like any relationship. And being able to either support your clients to get the results that they're looking for and to solve their problems or solving them for them. So that's all I've got for you today. I am so happy to have been able to share this, and I really hope that this has supported you. So just remember, we need to see your content. So put it out there. It doesn't need to be perfect. We just need to see you as your unique self. Thank you so much for listening and have the best day. Thank you for tuning in to Confidently Visible. I hope today's conversation inspired you to show up boldly, to share your unique gifts with courage, and to move through the visibility blocks that are holding you back. If you loved this episode, make sure that you're subscribed to the podcast, leave a rating and a review, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this. And if you're ready to become confidently visible in your business, head over to becksands.com to join my email list and to connect on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. Until next time, keep showing up as the amazing, unique you that the world needs.